Hi everyone, I'm back. Let's do Bible study. I finally got me a good tripod from Best Buy, so I can do my videos better. Let's see, where did we leave off? Okay, so we left off on James. So we're going to do James. We're going to do James chapter 3. Well, we did chapter 3 and 4, but yeah, we did. I think I talked about that enough in my last video. If you have any questions, please ask. Let's talk about chapter 5, James chapter 5, verse 1 through 9. And, 1 through 6. And verse 1 through 6 talks about rich people. So here we go. Weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Your wealth is rotting away. Your fine clothes are moth-eating rags. Your gold and silver are corroded. Your wealth will eat away your flesh like fire. Your corroded treasure you have hoarded will testify against you on Judgment Day. The workers you cheated, cries have reached the ears of the Lord of Heaven's armies. You in luxury, satisfying your every desire, are fattening yourselves for the day of slaughter. You have condemned and killed innocent people who do not resist you. So, to me, he's talking about a group of, a certain group of rich people. Now, there are rich people, who don't kill and murder, but initially, their hearts sometimes is not in the right place, and they're loving their money more than anything and anyone else. Money truly is the root of all evil if you're not spiritually grounded in God. And I mean strongly spiritually grounded in God, because money is what people need here. And so some people who have no hearts will do anything to get it, And so some people who are rich, they don't mind killing. And I have to say, you already know these companies who are getting rich off of people who are sick and poor and dying. They have to answer to God. because God will come. And God is actually showing us now He's coming. I mean, there's so many signs that lets us know that God is coming. And I mean, there's only so much He can take, so He can watch. I mean, it's the world lasted this long is because he's trying to give evil people a chance to do right, even though He know they're not going to do right, But He just want to give because He wants to be fair. He's a God of justice. Because if He didn't give them the opportunity to do right, they could throw back in His face that they didn't have an opportunity. And so God's like covering all of His grounds. He's like, okay, so I'm going to give you opportunity. He's like, I'm going to give you opportunity to get it together. Now, if you don't give that, He's going to let you know. It's up to you to take it in and apply it to yourself and do good, or reject it and continue to live the life you're living. So, I mean, the choice is yours. That's why we have free will. But God will let you know. God will let you know He's coming back. He's been letting us know that He's coming back through signs, rumors of war, and stuff like that. But also, some of this stuff I'm not really taking too seriously. I know it's kind of off the Bible for a minute. Well, it's not really off the Bible. It's still on the same subject. But this coronavirus. Now, I do think that it should be something to watch out for, because they are trying to make it stronger to kill people. But that coronavirus has been around for years. All you gotta do is look at your Lysol cans. It's been around for years. But they are trying to make it stronger so it can cause a panic, because that's how demons feed. And unfortunately, our leaders are demonic, and the only way you get rid of those demonic leaders is people gotta wake up and see. But most people not gonna wake up. They just not. Some people just like being asleep. They don't want to wake up and see what's going on around them that's affecting them. But I know I'm kind of all over the place. I tend to do that because I have mental illness, so I tend to jump around and get all over the place. I do try to stay, focused. But I took my medicine today, so I'm good, But let's go back to what we were saying about rich people. I mean, God now all rich people are evil, because God will bless His people to have money and live a good life. But there's people that are evil, they have money too, and they just make it look bad. They just make it. Money is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have money. It's not a bad thing to not have money. Yeah, I got a phone call, so I had to stop, but I'm back. So let's start on chapter 5, verse 7 through 12. And God continues to say, "Be patient, the coming of the Lord is near. Don't grumble about each other, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door. Look at the prophets who endured under suffering. Look at Job, a man of great endurance. The Lord was kind to him in the end, for the Lord is full of tenderness and mercy. Do not take an oath by heaven or earth or anything else. Simply yes or no, so you do not sin and be condemned." So yeah, I mean, that those verses is just letting you know that God is coming. And I know people have said, God's coming for years, But the thing is, you don't know when he's coming. So it's always good to be prepared. I mean, live your life and be at peace, and try to be at peace with everything and everyone around you. And I know there are people that make you just want to like clock them out, But nothing wrong with defending yourself, But at the same time, if you can stay away from negative people, then stay away from them. And try not to judge people, but we do tend to judge people. It is human nature. But if you catch yourself doing it, just ask God to forgive you, and he will. He died on the cross for us, and he saved us from ourselves, because he knows that we do things we just can't help, But, try to live a godly life. Try to be. But yeah, we are human, and we do tend to judge people. A lot of times you do it and you're not even trying to do it, but you tend to judge people that's not in your world, like who's not raised like you, or who think or do things different than you. Then we tend to judge people, like why they thinking like that, or why they doing that, or we tend to judge people unconsciously sometimes, But when you catch yourself doing it, just repent. Ask God for forgiveness, and he will. Let's see. So now we're going to go to verse 13 through 16. There's power in prayer, whether you're suffering hardships or happiness. Pray and sing praises. If you are sick, let the elders of the church pray over you, anoint you with oil in the name of the Lord. Offering in faith will heal you and make you well. If you have sinned, pray. You will be forgiven. Confess your sins to each other. Pray for each other so that you will be healed. The earnest prayer of a righteous person has great power and produces wonderful results. Elijah prayed earnestly. No rain fell for 3 years. Then he prayed again, and it rained, and the earth yielded its crops. So, there's power in prayer. Pray about, things that bother you. Pray without ceasing. A lot of times, like if you feel like you're under demonic attack, pray without ceasing. Learn to do some fasting. I've been practicing fasting. I do like 3 hours a day. I think the longest I went was 6 days. I want to do an all day fast, but I don't know if I can. But one day I may try. So the last chapter in James is chapter 5, verse 19. And it says, when you bring a wanderer back to the truth, you save that person from death and brought about the forgiveness of many sins. So when he's saying, what it's saying is that if you bring someone back to God, like say they believed in God and then something happened to where they just like don't believe in him, so God may send you to that person to help that person believe in God again. So, and if you are successful, you bring that person back to life, and the person is forgiven. So we can do that for each other. I can't see about my glasses. Okay, let's move on to Hebrews. The author is uncertain, but suggested authors are Paul, Barnabas, Apollos, Priscilla, Luke, and others. It was written around AD 68 probably, and a few years before the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem in AD 70. Hebrews chapter 1. God spoke to us many times, many ways, to our ancestors through prophets. God speaks to us now through Jesus. Everything belongs to Jesus through the Father. Through Jesus, God created the universe. When Jesus cleansed us from our sins, God put Jesus in a place of honor at his right hand. Jesus is greater than the angels, even the name is greater. So when people say that, it's amazing to me that some people will say that they think the universe, they'll say they think the stars or the sky, and people would think in anything besides God. It's that the fact that people react the way they do to God just, makes me more grounded in God, because it makes me think like, yeah, these people wouldn't act this way if what God said wasn't true. God said that the world does not accept him and will not accept him, but his people are in the world, and so we are who he's been trying to save and talk to all this time. But what saddens him is that his people, wanted to be like the world. And he just wanted to get everybody back, to him. But it just amazes me how some people can sit there and say they praise the universe and all of that. And I'm like, well, who do you think made the universe? God made the universe, so wouldn't you praise the creator and not the created? But some people they have so much demonic evil hatred in them that if you mention the name God, they go crazy. Some people just Let's move on. Let's continue. Hebrews 1. Jesus is greater than the angels. Even his name is greater. God never said to any angel what he said to Jesus. You are my son. Today I'm your father. I will be his father, and he will be my son. Let all of God's angels worship him. God says about the angels, he sends his angels like the winds, his servants like flames of fire. God also said to Jesus, your throne, O God, endures forever and ever. You rule with a scepter of justice. You love justice and hate evil. Therefore, O God, your God has anointed you, pouring out the oil of joy on you more than on anyone else. In the beginning, Lord, you laid the foundations of the earth and made the heavens with your hands. They will perish, but you will remain forever. They will wear out like old clothing. You will fold them up like a cloak and discard them like old clothing. But you are always the same. You will live forever. Sit in the place of honor at my right hand until I humble your enemies, making them a footstool under your feet. Therefore, angels are only servants, spirits sent to care for people who will inherit salvation. Shortened version, Jesus is not an angel. He is the Son of God, which in turn makes him God too, because God gave Jesus, his authority over us. And of course, Jesus is above the angels. So some people refer to Jesus as an angel, and the writer for Hebrews was just letting us know that he's not an angel. He's higher than an angel. He's a God, And he's not a sun god or any of those Egyptian gods that you may hear. Some of these people now are saying that Jesus was the sun god, Ra, or something like that. No, he wasn't. Jesus is who he is and who he has always been. But there have been many imitators, because he did warn us and said there are going to be a lot of imitators. There's going to be a lot of people, trying to be him or wanting to be him. A lot of spirits wanting to be him, posing as him. But he's the only original. Before that sun god, Ra, Jesus was and is. And that sun god Ra is not real. And if it is, it's a demon. And a demon wanting to be worshipped, wanting to be like God. But they can never be God. There's only one God. Let's continue. Chapter 2 of Hebrews. Angels deliver the message from God to us. God's message always stands firm. Every violation of the law, every act of disobedience is punished. We cannot escape God's salvation. God confirmed this message by giving signs, wonders, and various miracles and gifts of the Holy Spirit whenever he chooses. And he says, what are mere mortals that you should think about them, or a son of man that you should care for him? Yet for a little while you made them a little lower than the angels and crowned them with glory and honor. You gave them authority over all things. When it says all things, it means nothing is left out. We have not seen all things put under their authority. We do not see Jesus, who was given a position a little lower than the angels, and because he suffered death for us, is now crowned with glory and honor. Because Jesus died for us, ones made holy through Jesus have the same Father as Jesus. Jesus says, I will proclaim your name to my brothers and sisters. I will praise you among your assembled people. I will put my trust in him, that is, I and the children God has given me. Because God's children are human beings made of flesh and blood, the Son became flesh and blood. Only as a human being called Jesus. Only as a human being could Jesus die. His dying broke the power of the devil, who had the power of death. Only as a human being could Jesus set free all who have lived their lives as slaves to the fear of dying. Jesus did not come to help angels. He came to help the children of Abraham. Jesus had to become like humans. Jesus had to become like humans to be our merciful and faithful high priest before God, who also calls us his sisters and brothers. Since Jesus went through sin and suffering, he is able to help us when we are being tested. Okay, chapter 3. Jesus is God's messenger and high priest. Jesus is faithful to God who appointed him, just as Moses served faithfully when God entrusted his house to him. Jesus deserves far more praise than Moses because he built the house. God built everything. Moses was a faithful servant in God's house. Jesus is in charge of God's entire house. We are God's house if we keep our courage and confident in our hope in Jesus. The Holy Spirit says, today when you hear my voice, don't harden your hearts as Israel did when they rebelled, when they tested me in the wilderness. There, your ancestors tested and tried my patience, even though they saw my miracles for 40 years. So I was angry with them and I said, their hearts always turn away from me. They refuse to do what I tell them. So in my anger, I took an oath. They will never enter my rest. Do not have evil and unbelieving hearts turning away from the living God. Warn each other every day to not be deceived by sin and harden against God. Tell each other while it is still time. Remain faithful to God to the end, trusting in God just as firmly as when you first believed, and you will share in all that belongs to God. Disobedience to God and unbelief in God will cause disobedience to God and unbelief in God will cause you not to enter God's eternal rest. So we're going to end there. And just remember, if you have any questions, please leave me questions in the comment section, or you can inbox me. If you want to leave insults and be negative, don't waste your time, because you will be blocked and deleted and reported. So stay positive and stay good, my friends.